Ibra di testa, Tonali, gol! Sandro! Meritato! Sandro! Gol!
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the SempreMilan podcast. I'm your host, Ollie Fisher, joined once again by Anthony Torgrud.
What's up, guys? Glad to be back. I don't know why I just did the Nixon there, but yeah, it's been a week absence, and we've returned.
Alexandria, right? No, that was Watergate, and that was Reagan.
No.
Good start.
No,
that was
Yeah.
Nixon.
Yeah, that was Nixon. Yeah, I'm near the Watergate though. Not far at all, actually.
American politics. So
Yeah. I know Fisher's like, I don't.
No, well, actually,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
look,
that is topical because he's had quite a few resignations in his government this week.
I was going to go for we missed a week because of 4th of July, so you can say all you want about American history, but we don't have a government anymore, really.
Yeah.
it's chaos.
It's happening not far from me, actually, like a couple of miles. But yeah, I'm here in the sweltering heat as well. That's another thing that's making it. Us Brits don't deal very well with heat at all.
Doesn't say how hot is it there?
31 at the moment, Celsius. So I don't know what the formula is for that, but it's meant to be 35. I can work it out. Maddie, say hello.
Hello.
There you go.
You said it's 31 Celsius right now?
Yeah.
So it's like 85.
It's meant to be 95 Fahrenheit on Sunday, which
Rough.
in London, as you can imagine, with the
So it's 88 right now. That's not bad.
Our high today is 88 as well, but I'm also in a basement, so it's
My high is
naturally
85
freezing.
today, but it's 70 is what I have the AC at.
Yep. So yeah, as I say, not built for it, but we're ploughing on regardless. As said, we missed last week because of various commitments. I've been away to Gran Canaria and come back, and it's warmer here than it was when we were there. But still, nice to have a little break and dive right back into the Mercato. There was like 4 announcements while I was away, which was always the way that it was going to be. But we will recap those in due course. But before we dive into the episode, Maddie, you have got details of a giveaway to give our wonderful audience.
So we have a wonderful mug here. I don't know what that says. I think that says Champions 2022 on it.
The new champions.
Yeah.
The new champions. So
Campione di Nuovo.
I was wrong. Has the score of the game there, and on the back is the play that Giroud scored the go-ahead goal. How do you win? So Playbook Products has agreed to do a giveaway with us. You have to follow both the SempreMilan TV account, the Playbooks Products Twitter account, which will be in the description. And once you do both, go comment on the comments below the podcast on YouTube. Let us know that you have done it with your Twitter, and we will choose a winner.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so literally just comment your Twitter in the comments below the YouTube video, and then we know you have entered. And yeah, I guess we'll announce a winner next week. So gives you a week to enter. So that is all great. Thank you very much to Playbook Products for agreeing to do this giveaway. Love the mug. Gonna cop one myself probably because I have a ridiculous mug collection as it is. But yeah,
I actually have. I'm using it, so I apologize, a little dirty.
Coaster.
But yeah, I got slate coasters from them. You can't really see the play because, I have my sweaty ass coffee on it. But yeah, they got historical plays as well. This was from a really old derby win because Serginho scored in the 81st minute. So whenever that was.
That was 6-0, I think.
Was this honestly? I can't tell because it's so wet right now.
Serginho was the one who scored. Yeah.
AJ and I are really bad Milan
Oh my god!
fans.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
Because he's like some game when he scored and Oliver's like,
literally
we
the
won
most
6-0.
the most famous derby win in our history, but never mind. But yeah, that was about a 6-0. That was when the Inter fan ran onto the pitch and I think begged Costa Curta that we stop scoring. So no matter what happens from this point onwards, we are the bigger club and all that. So yeah, thank you again to Playbook for all that, and we look forward to seeing all the entries pile in. Fingers crossed. It's open to worldwide, I believe. Is that right, Maddie? It's not just America.
Yeah.
So everybody get involved, and yeah, best of luck once you enter with that, and we will announce the winner next week. Right. So as mentioned, was on holiday. there'd been all kinds of announcements that were meant to be happening. None of them happened. Got on a holiday, which meant I was away from work, so I didn't have to cover it. So thank you to Isaac and Ewan for covering these things. But the first thing that dropped was Maldini and Massara finally announcing the renewal of their contracts. I think it ended up being 2 years with an option for a third, as was kind of widely reported beforehand. It happened a bit after we were all expecting, but I suppose by the end we knew it was going to happen regardless.
It quite literally happened on the last day of their contract. I mean, they were hours away from being unemployed, and now they're not unemployed. So good for them. There's not much else to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I suppose is that there were some reports that came out around the time saying that Maldini had kind of not played hardball, but he said, I'm going to sign this renewal on my terms. I want some guarantees in terms of power, in terms of the say, like he wants to have the definitive say in terms of transfers and not to have to go through so many layers of approval. Because we missed out on Botman, may yet miss out on other targets because of the bureaucracy of trying to sign players when you're in a change of ownership process. So fair play if he has managed to get that. No doubt has managed to get a pay rise as well out of it, which is a reward for the work that he's done since he arrived back. Same for Massara. And we move on together with the M&M boys, which is fantastic. As I say, we kind of knew it was going to happen, but it's good to see it inked. And also it was great to see Maldini driving out of CastilleJo with a big smile on his face, like, oh, we got it done in the end, don't worry, and we're going to make up for lost time on the market.
Yeah, that definitely was reassuring.
And we have done nothing.
I know. Well, I mean, we brought in Origi, who had his medical prior to that. We've gotten rid of a lot of players. In fact, Frank Tessoud is joining Cremonese on a permanent deal. Just got that tweeted to me right now. So, breaking news. But yeah, I mean, we won't talk on this too much because we have plenty of other stuff to discuss. But yeah, my understanding was prior to the deal, Maldini wanted like total control of the transfers. And then the Redbird / Elliott response was, no, we have our algorithm we want to stick with. And that was a lot of why there was hold up on Renato Sanches and some other issues with Botman, as well as the different layers and different hands in the pot. And to my understanding, what they compromised on was the budget will still be decided by the powers that be, the higher up, and then however Maldini wants to spend it is on him. And I think that's a pretty fair compromise. You can't expect Maldini to have unlimited control over everything and bring us into turmoil like he's Steven Zhang or something, but it seems like he's gotten what he wants, and we're going to see some movement really soon here. That's definitely seems to be the case with the news that we've been getting. Obviously nothing's done, but it sounds like everything's moving forward.
And I feel like we're actually going to compete for the players that we want, not like, all right, we can't get him, who's our second choice,
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what Maldini can do with a little bit of freedom. I just hope that the salary cap goes up a little bit so we don't become like a Dortmund or anything.
I think it will go up. I mean, you're seeing the renewal for Benacer, if that goes through.
That's not even like
close.
Well,
yeah, I know, but just the fact that we're allowing people to go up. But then again, we freed up like 55 mil in salary this summer alone, with Romagnoli leaving, Ibrahimovic taking like a 90% pay cut.
What's his
Castillejo gone.
salary now?
I think he's on a fixed 1 mil with up to 2 in bonuses depending on performances.
Fucking legend.
And that'll be
still
for
gonna be my flop of the season.
And that's just for the second half of the season.
Exactly,
First half, he's on 100 grand. There are people that we know in our everyday life that make more money than Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
I don't know
6
many.
months.
But I don't know
not many in 6 months. Fair enough. But
not even 6 months from September to December. That's like 4 months.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
if you make that annual, then that's big money.
It is big money. But also it's like what they
$300,000.
described it as a token salary, as in like that's just what he'll get so we can come in and use the facilities and so that we can register him while he's doing his recovery. So that's funny. But yeah, fair play for the pay cut on that. Romagnoli, we'll come on to that because we've got to go through the business as it happened. But I agree. Yeah, the wage budget is going to have to go up. If we've got ambitions of going further in Europe, then we're going to have to build a more competitive squad. And to do that, you have to pay players what they're worth. We know all this. So we'll dive straight in. I think it was the day after Maldini and Massara's renewals got announced. Alessandro Florenzi joined on a permanent deal. We knew this was happening, but we managed to secure a little bit of a discount on the previously agreed 4.5 mil. which is decent. There was absolutely zero objections from anyone I saw in the fan base. He became a pretty consistent contributor for us, especially towards the back end of the season after some initial injury difficulties. No complaints from me.
Yeah, happy. Really thrilled, actually. I wanted him to stay, all season. So really thrilled with that. I think he could potentially start a good amount of games next season.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so. He looks great in training, but we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as I said, low cost, so low risk. He's 31, brings experience, has won trophies, now has a Scudetto to his name.
Well, he has a tree as well, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. Well, if it's still alive, it was that long ago.
Yeah, probably dead, actually.
Did you guys see the size of the bonsai? That thing was probably already like 60.
That's true. It was a big bonsai.
If the bonsai is that big, is it a bonsai anymore?
Yeah.
Isn't the whole point of a bonsai tree that it's a mini tree? And when it becomes so big, it becomes like a massive garden plant. Anyway.
I think the bonsai itself isn't actually a small plant. I think they grow to their pot size, kind of like how sharks can grow to any size of their tank, or goldfish or whatever. You leave a goldfish in the ocean, it could be a couple 100 pounds. I think bonsais are similar in the arbor world.
Yeah, that's good knowledge. 5th of July.
Thanks. And a herbologist or whatever, a plantologist.
I learned from you, Madison. I know you grow a lot of plants, so.
I do. A lot of vegetables.
Yeah.
Any giveaways coming, Maddie?
Only if you're in the area.
Drop off. 5th of July, Divock Origi finally gets announced as a Milan player. Again, we knew it was coming. He'd been over, done his medical and everything. He's training on his own at the moment. He's still getting over some kind of muscle tear that he sustained towards the back end of last season, but did a great interview. I will say that his first interview as a player was basically saying, Maldini convinced me I'm coming here so we can fight for the second star. I was convinced when I played at San Siro with Liverpool, said a lot of the right things. I mean, obviously he's not going to come out and say I'm not happy to be here or anything like that, but I thought it was a good interview, and he outlined what he can bring to the team. 27 years of age, has won the Champions League, Premier League, Club World Cup, all that. So yeah, look, it's a free transfer, so it's pretty damn low risk. And we have spoken about what he could potentially bring, but it's nice to get that one over the line. And I'm actually kind of gassed for the friendlies this year. Not just because of him, but because of Adli, who will come on to, and Pobega, and some of the other players that we've known for a while are going to be part of the plans, but now we actually get to see them in our new training kit and stuff. So
I will play one on Wednesday.
When I said he looked good in training, I thought we were talking about Adli. Florenzi will not start this season.
He'll definitely start a game, I would have thought.
A game, but he's not going to take over the starting position.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Injuries can do funny things. Then 7th of July, Junior Messias was announced on a permanent deal. This one was right, so I missed most of this one. What was the fee for this?
2.5.
Right, I don't think it was ever disclosed, to be honest with you.
Right. I saw some. I think some
I have a internal source.
Okay, that's good. That's good to have.
It's a good answer.
But I mean, Wikipedia's got it down as 4.5.
Well, that was the option, and I know we got a discount on it, so that's not true.
I think it's 4.5 total though, so maybe that includes the loan fee.
Oh, and the loan fee was 2, so then we got it for 2.5.
So that would make sense. In which case, fair dues. I mean, again, you can't really argue with that. He did score 6 goals last season.
Yeah, and got us our only Champions League win. With Castillejo leaving today, which we'll obviously get to, at first I was thinking Messias probably quick flip to Monza, make, a few small million, sell him for 6 or something like that. But if Castillejo's leaving, then I don't know if that's going to happen. But then again, if we get Ziyech, do we really need 3 with Ziyech, Salamakers, and Messias? I don't know. I'm going to say yes, but we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, the rumours have started up again about a quick flip to Monza. Yeah, the idea of selling him on for a quick profit. As you've alluded to there, I think it depends on a lot of fluid situations. If we manage to get another winger in, and what happens with Salamar, because he could even be sold for the right offer and stuff. But it's good to have him. Good to have him, I guess, at a discounted price, and also he wasn't going to go back to Crotone either because they're in Serie C now. So we were able to use a bit of leverage there, just like we did with Tonali and Brescia when they got relegated.
Can you imagine winning the Scudetto and then your next season you're in Series C?
He wouldn't have gone back.
Yeah, I mean, someone would have
Gone to,
picked him up for sure.
else.
But yeah, it's crazy to think.
Would you rather play in Series C or the MLS?
MLS, easy.
People
don't want to have this conversation, but the MLS is the best league outside of Europe.
No, it's not at all.
Yeah, it is.
Brazil, Argentina have better leagues.
We literally just won our first Champions League trophy. And you want to say that we're better than the Mexican League?
Oh, easily. It's not even
close. I don't know. Last time you watched an MLS game?
When DC United set the record for biggest loss, 7-0 this weekend.
Series League, apparently.
Wayne Rooney's about to coach in this amazing league.
Which is ridiculous because he hated the league so much when he was here. But I'll go watch him.
He's got to be better than Derby.
If you meet him, have him sign something for me.
Yeah. I'll have him sign a Liverpool kit.
He'll probably spit in your face.
I do have a Liverpool shirt I could bring.
Why?
Not the kind.
Why do I have it, or why would I bring it?
Why do you have it?
When my brother-in-law went to, he has family outside of Liverpool. What was the name of the city, Ollie?
Chester.
He's got the bar. Chester. Yeah, he went and visited family there, and he got me a Suarez shirt that season. He was hot.
I understand why you have it still.
Yeah.
Got the racism season.
I think it was the season after. I don't know. Wait, how many seasons was he at?
And
Liverpool?
It's Suarez? I fucking hate Suarez.
So that's the Liverpool part of the podcast done. That's it in terms of official signings for the moment. Before we move on to departures, I suppose what we should do is recap in terms of the latest rumours in terms of who we might be signing. Lara is still the main one. We're going to call him CDK moving forward. So, CDK is looking like the man of the moment. Budget or not, like if we got 50 mil to spend or not, doesn't really matter. We're going all in for him. By the sounds of it, there are now multiple sources in Belgium, in Italy, saying we're going to bid 30 million, which should be enough, hopefully. Club Brugge are going to try and hold out for more while there are Premier League teams that are interested in signing him, of course. But the good news is that he wants to pick us. Now, I know what people are thinking, and people are going to shout this in the comments. We heard this before with Botman, that we were going to raise our bid and that the player wanted us and that everything was going to work out okay, and then it didn't. But for some reason, this one feels a bit different to me. So we put in a concrete bid, and he sat out the friendly yesterday, and he's apparently going to sit out a friendly on Wednesday, and he's not going to play in the Super Cup later this week either because he got an agreement with the coach that he doesn't want to risk injury because he knows that an exit's close, and by the sounds of it, that's only going to be to us.
So I mentioned earlier about Maldini wanting more power, blah, 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 and the algorithm that Redbird and Elliot have. They have like a computer-generated algorithm that gives you how well a player would do in your squad, like if it's a good move for you, and a maximum price tag that you should spend on him. And that's why we couldn't go up for Botman. They made it very clear he's 30 million euros. That's the most we could spend for him in our squad. And this is the same algorithm that Liverpool use, so it is a successful algorithm to have, except their budget is significantly higher than ours. So
Darwin Núñez, 100 million. We can pay it, no problem.
Yeah, exactly. But now with Maldini having this ability that's like, here's our overall budget, spend it how you want. That's why this feels different, because if he needs to bump it up 2-3 million, we're not going to miss out on players over 2-3 million anymore like we used to. You know, when we didn't renew Hakan over, what was it, 200,000 a week or something silly like that. And like those situations aren't going to happen anymore. Now we could get the deal over the line.
Yeah, and we this would be a big one because I think fans, as with the Botman saga, are not fed up. Well, no, probably are fed up, and some of them a bit angry that we keep being linked to targets and we can't seem to make that decisive push to get them over the line. To get this one done, to beat competition for a talent that is very well spoken of, that would be a big step, and would hopefully be the start of something, you know, in terms of the market. And I mean, I'm still pessimistic that this gets done in anything like the next few days because a deal of this size, there's a lot of things to iron out about counterparts, about resale clauses and all that kind of stuff. It would be nice to get him in fairly quickly, though, so he's got most of the preseason to get up to speed. But as long as he arrives, don't mind. Happy days. And then what's the next one? Renato Sanches. We've got no real movement on that apart from that. Sounds like we've made an actual bid that's been accepted and PSG haven't. But agent Jorge Mendes knows that PSG are interested and could probably give him more commissions and could give Sanchez a bigger salary. So he's holding on and he's asking for, depending what you believe, somewhere between 4 or 5 mil net per season, and Milan haven't bitten on that just yet. I still think he arrives, I think PSG, having signed Vitinha from Porto for 40 mil, have kind of ruled themselves out of that for now. They've got other areas to focus on.
I think there's... Go ahead.
I would say it depends on if he wants to play or just win trophies. If he just wants to win trophies, he'll go to PSG because he's not going to play there. But if he wants to play and win trophies, he'll come to us.
Well, I think he might play there. I mean, PSG's midfield is probably the spot that they need the most work in, but I do agree. And being that he's in the French league and being that he won the French title with Lille 2 seasons ago, I think players who aren't on PSG but playing Ligue 1, they have a very either love or hate relationship with PSG. It's not like Bayern where everyone in Germany strives to play for Bayern. In France, because of how PSG rose to prominence, there's a lot of either, fuck this club, I want nothing to do with it, I want to beat them every chance I can, or, yeah, this is the best team in this country, like, I got to get on that squad. And so it'll be interesting to see where he is. It seemed like he was kind of in the anti-PSG boat, same with Mignon and Botman, but when money calls, all of a sudden you're like, oh, they're not too bad, you want to make me a multi-millionaire, cool.
You got to factor in that, the guys who gave him a chance at Lille, Gaultier and the sporting director, Luis Campos, are now both at PSG. So he might be looking at that thinking, well, they turn to the dark side, so I'll probably do the same. The thing is, PSG, if they want him, have actually got to submit a bid. And they haven't yet by the sounds of it. So we'll wait and see how that one develops. Don't want to spend too long on it. Hakim Ziyech is a name that... did we mention it last week? Yeah, I think we did mention it last episode, but it was it wasn't as topical as perhaps it is now. I mean, there hasn't been a great deal of development on it. I'd still really like him to arrive. If it's a loan formula, then even better, because that would probably facilitate investment in other areas, so we can delay the payment and all that. I think at 29, he's got an awful lot to prove, can play on the right, can play as a number 10, offers goals, assists, all that. Seems a perfect target, but I think what might be holding this one up is, Chelsea's signing Raheem Sterling, but he's a left-sided player. So it's just what they want to do in terms of if they're going to shuffle players around, or if they're going to have to sign Rafinha, to be Ziyech's replacement for the right side. He's an actual right winger, and then they let him go. We'll have to wait and see. But the one thing is, Chelsea are not messing around in terms of their spending. They're bidding 45 million for Nathan Ake, which is horrendous, by the way. I don't understand that at all.
Chelsea love to spend exorbitant amounts of money on players they sold for cheap. I don't know why they do it, but they always
like Man United as well with Pogba, who's ended up, back at Juve. You're just thinking,
twice.
What are you doing?
Juve got Pogba for free twice, plus 100 million euros for him. Can't go wrong there.
I think they're inheriting.
I'll tell you what, the second spell is never as good as the first, unless it's Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
And hopefully, Lukaku's is worse.
Yeah, I don't see how it can be better. I'll be honest, but that's probably a discussion for another time. Hopefully Ziyech arrives. And then onto the centre-back thing, it's gone really cold. What I think we discussed, be it the last episode or the one before when we missed out on Botman, the idea of changing strategy and moving the money that we were going to allocate to that to other areas, the attack and midfield namely, I think that's happened. Now we seem to be just looking for a centre-back, potentially on loan or a low-cost deal. The name at the moment, Sky are reporting, is Japhet Tanganga, who, if any of you watched the All or Nothing Spurs documentary, when Mourinho was in charge there, will probably remember Tanganga's kind of rise to prominence under Jose. Kind of came from nowhere, Spurs Academy product and everything. And then, started playing a few games at right back, some games at right-sided centre-back. Quick, athletic, strong, tenacious, but... kind of fell out of favour then when things started to go wrong. And last season, I think he made something like 13 appearances before doing his knee in February and missing the rest of the season. Talks about it being a loan. There's some talks about it being about 10 million or something like that. Spurs fans are mixed on him. Some are saying, no, we've gone a step beyond that now. We're back in the Champions League. We need better players. You know, they have got better centre-backs, to be honest. But some of them are like, I don't see why we'd give up on him at 23. You know,
well, they did just sign...
and thought...
Oh, I think you're still talking. Sorry. They did just sign, is it Lenule or something like that? From
Barca?
Barca?
Yeah. Awful. I don't understand that.
I thought he was high. I don't watch La Liga ever.
He's not been good at Barca. He was fantastic at Lyon,
Okay.
and then went to Barca and just couldn't stay fit at all.
Well, I talked to my buddy Dan. You know him, Ollie, but he's a big Spurs guy. Shout out Glovies007 on Twitter. Give him a follow if you like FIFA and Spurs. But I told him, I was like, yo, we're interested in Tanganga. What are your thoughts? And he's like, stay away. Like, this is but a positive stay away. He's like, don't touch him. We want him. You know, so that's reassuring. I don't know. If a diehard wants him, I trust that opinion.
I think that they see him not in terms of what he's done so far, but what he could do. You know, again, it's like the Tomori thing where they've seen a glimpse of him. He's done well. He's had his struggles. He's been hidden away again. Obviously had the injury as well, which didn't help. But they don't want him to become a regret. But there's another thing about him being non-EU. You know, for example, given English, and there will be various logistical things that would need working out. But I think I could get behind it if it was a loan with option, obviously.
Yeah.
And then apart from that, there's nothing really on the centre back front. I mean, 30 million is apparently the asking price for Abdou Diallo of PSG, so that is a no. Absolutely no chance. There's not really anybody else linked, to be honest. And that's it in terms of transfer rumours. We're just kind of playing a waiting game.
I think we need to get another center back, especially with Romagnoli leaving. But if that's not the priority, then so be it. You know, we did just fine with Kalulu and Tomori. I am nervous about that to see how they do for a full season. Maybe Kalulu is like a one season kind of deal. Who knows? But we'll see. Obviously, he's young. He can still develop, but I am a little nervous about it.
Yeah, one thing we'll mention while we're on the centre-back front is that Kier has now fully recovered and should make his, I would say, competitive return. I just mean to a game. Obviously, it's not a competitive game, but should be back for the friendly against Cologne on Saturday. So that'll be good to see him out on the field for the first time in 8 months, and we'll see how he copes. I mean, they're not going to play at 10% in this friendly.
And I think that'll determine how much we want to spend on a centre-back. You know, if he looks like he's still got it, then cool. We don't need to get anyone else. But if he looks a little shaky, you think, well, he's not looking too hot. He's high age. He's just coming off this injury. He might not be the best backup. Maybe you go in for someone. So I think time will tell on that. But that's another question mark for me. This is why I was so excited about Botman, but it is what it is.
No, and there are a lot of people who have perhaps doubted the level of expense on a player like Botman, but still think that another centre back is needed for depth reasons. And I think if you get a quality centre back, be it on loan or be it an investment, someone you're willing to grow for the future, perhaps opens up some scenarios with Gabir as well. You could look at letting him leave on loan, maybe with a recall clause or whatever. But
I hear there's a club with a pretty good center back that's being forced out of the club right now. On the other side of Milan, maybe that's an idea.
If only we could afford that. We could throw him someone in the swap deal.
Couldn't spend 30 on Botman, so we could spend 70 on fucking Skriniar, right?
Hey, look, if the algorithm spits it out, then
the algorithm yes.
We've got to go for it, man.
Is there algorithm FIFA by any chance?
They have some fancy name for it,
manager.
Honestly. Right,
yeah. But no, it's interesting. Is all that to me. Again, potentially a discussion for another episode. But now we're on to the departures. I mean, Frank Kessie, while I was away, was officially unveiled as a Milan player, revealed in his as a Barcelona player. Sorry, revealed in his press conference first press conference, whatever, that he spoke to Zlatan about it, and Zlatan said, "Yeah, you're ready, go for it." Interesting one. I'm not sure why he wasn't saying hang around, or I don't know, maybe he knew that his mind was made up or whatever. But maybe
I think
he
it was more
already
that,
signed.
you saw during the parade the reaction towards Hakan and other players that left, and while Zlatan and others were chanting like, their words about Hakan, you saw like Romagnoli and Kessie kind of put their heads down, like they knew they were out, and you could tell they didn't want to be treated or remembered the same way, and I don't think they will be, or nor should they be.
They didn't go to our direct rival for free.
Right, and they won us a title, and they were consummate professionals the entire time. So I don't have any issues with Kessie leaving in the way he did. The only thing I'm annoyed about is, those comments from AFCON, when he said like, it's a matter of time, I'll be there. I'm Presidente, blah blah blah, all this stuff, and then he left. But I don't know how much of that is him and not his agent.
That was the Olympics last summer, yeah.
Olympics.
You also don't know when Xavi called him. Like, Xavi's like Maldini. If he calls you, like, what are you gonna do?
Is that not tapping up as well? Like, I don't know. I mean, they never get punished for it, but
I was gonna say, is that even a real rule anymore?
Obviously there is a big draw to Barcelona still. I know we've discussed this at length before, but Barcelona, he's given us half a decade of service. Ultimately, he signed out in the best possible way by winning the title. We've spoken before as well about his agent and how he only has one big client, and this is a chance to basically he's a family friend as well, to make everybody rich for the foreseeable future.
Well, and maybe Zlatan's comments were more like, look, if Barca's your dream, you better go now because this club's going to be liquidated in 2 seasons,
who was it who said that?
Bayern, they're like, if you want Lewandowski, you got to pay up front because you're not going to exist in 2 years.
Is that real?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm rolling with it because I love it. It's a great narrative.
Yeah. Fantastic. It'd be interesting to see what will happen with Barcelona, because one thing you hear that they can't register players because they've got no room for it or they've got no wage bill. The next, they're basically paying 75 mil for Rafinha, and they're looking at buying Bernardo Silva for 60 mil.
But then they can't sell Frankie de Jong for 75 because they owe him 16 mil in back pay. Like, just ridiculous shit with that club every day.
It is real, like juggling accounting, is that, in it? Just whack-a-mole, get rid of one problem.
They'll find a way. They'll get another $1 billion sponsorship out of nowhere, and it'll be fine.
Yeah. Romagnoli, we just kind of mentioned there, he's left as well, as in his contract's expired. He's not officially joined anyone yet, but his medical with Lazio is set for tomorrow. That's been in the pipeline for a while. Again, he's given us, 7 seasons he's given us. So fair play to him for that. Became captain, became one of the best defenders in the league for quite a decent amount of time. There's no two ways about it. Okay, the last couple of seasons of his time at Milan weren't all perfect by any means, but as you mentioned, he remained an absolute professional, even when he knew that his future lay elsewhere. And
I saw a lot of hate for him. Yeah, I saw a lot of hate from him on the timeline, and that's something you really need to consider. Is he was our captain. He denied a move to Chelsea when it would have been the best thing for his career when we were at our absolute worst. He could have went to a team that won league titles and Champions Leagues and so on. He could have been a legend for the Blues, but instead he decided to stay with us and build his legacy here, help us dig out of this hole. And as soon as he was not the best defender we had, he never complained when he was on the bench. He knew his spot, and he was with us till the end, won a trophy, and absolutely no disrespect for him. So I think everyone should be really happy with the career he gave us.
And also, I think people need to be prepared for him to look quite good at Lazio. I think with him in the 3-man defence, he'll be shielded a bit more in terms of his physical shortcomings, the ones that were exposed a little bit in our high line. And I think he'll be a fairly good replacement for a Cherby, let's say, or Luis Felipe. And we will meet him again. So thank you, Alessio. I think that's about it. I mean, Leo Duarte has left, but we kind of didn't expect him to be coming back.
Raise your hands if you remembered he was on our team.
Oh, God, I actually did a tweet saying, remember this guy, he's leaving. Istanbul Başakşehir have paid €2 million to buy him outright. I think the original option to buy was like 5.5, but, I don't think he's
No one's going to pay 5.5 for him.
Yeah.
We did.
Seems
Get him.
okay, boy.
Yeah,
We paid 10,
probably
didn't we?
did.
I think we
hope
paid
we
10.
Thank you.
paid 10.
Thank you, Leonardo and Serginho
Yeah.
for that
Oh
one.
my
That guy was
God.
awful.
So yeah, he goes. He was on an 18-month loan there, and he actually did rack up a fair few appearances. But it sounded like towards the back end of last season he wasn't quite as good, so they probably got the leverage they needed to get a discount there. Then the two that haven't quite been completed yet, but look like they are going to be completed, is Daniel Maldini to Hellas Verona on a loan with option to buy and a buyback in our favour. That's what Di Marzio's reporting. Some are saying just a dry loan. Look, I knew that this crossroads was going to come, where we either needed to promise him the game time to better his career and make sure that he has a career at the highest level, or we were going to have to allow him to leave at some point under whatever formula. But how do we feel about this?
He's not starting right now, and I don't know why he's not getting his shot. And I feel like Pioli does like younger players, so there's got to be something going on. Like he's just not understanding his role or something. But if he can break into Hellas and come back and be a star, I'm all about it. And if he doesn't ever come back, then I'll be upset. But I'll try.
Yeah, and that's really it. The only reason I'm bummed out about it is just the Maldini legacy thing. I know you mentioned Cesare didn't play for Milan his entire career, but the damn good majority of it. And then obviously Paolo had almost 1,000 appearances for us. So I would have liked to have seen that continue from the get-go with no interruptions. But yeah, I mean, he won a Scudetto in his first real season. He obviously scored a goal, an opener against Spezia, and he did decent, but he was never going to be a real pivotal player in this squad. And if the objective next season is either go far in the Champions League or get the second star, then there just simply isn't a spot for him. Not if we're bringing in De Ketelaere or Ziyech or Adli. I mean, there's just not a spot for him. And it's not fair to him. And he needs to get that play time elsewhere. I didn't want to see it happen. I'd rather him tough it out and just be a great guy in practice. But I understand, you have playing career aspirations. You got to play.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily even mind the loan with option and a buyback, because what that's saying to Verona is, look, we're giving you a player here that we really believe in. And if we decide to bring him back, then you're going to get a little development fee for it as well. So I think
exactly. It's a great deal for Verona.
Yeah. So we'll see if that one does indeed get over the line. Spezia were apparently interested as well in a dry loan. Wouldn't have turned that down either necessarily, because, again, it's just a dry loan. And he might have had a chance of playing a bit more there, because I guess Verona are shooting top half. But it is what it is. And then Samu Castillejo is finally on his way out. He's going to Valencia for free. Apparently, he's just written off the last $4.5 million of his amortization, but we'll save about 2.5-ish in salary gross, that is.
Never thought I'd say this, but I'm really bummed to see him go.
I am too. I'd rather see Salamakers leave.
Yeah.
But also, $6 million a season is crazy money for him.
That's what they're giving Samu?
Isn't that what we're paying him?
No.
We're paying him like 2.5.
Oh.
We're paying him 1.5 net, and I don't know I think he signed before the growth decree, but it might still apply to him. I don't know how it works. I'd have to look up the rules, but let's say, it's about 2.5 mil gross, and then the amortization's 4.5 mil. So him going is basically, we lose that much because we've not been able to sell him for a profit on the books. But it is what it is. The wages, I guess, are pretty important.
Yeah, I don't really care about the player. I'm just upset that I bought a Rafael 17 jersey that should be arriving in the next 8 hours. And he's going to take the number 7 tomorrow, probably. So
if my jersey had already shipped, I would feel bad for you. But because I ordered it like 6 hours before you and it hasn't shipped yet, I don't feel bad.
I don't think you ordered before me, did you?
I did.
Oh, okay. Well, that's crazy.
Remember the whole chat about the patch? We thought I fucked it up, but...
Oh, yeah, you're right. This did happen. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and I didn't get my Coro Rossoneri discount either. So, I'm extra pissed at this stupid
swings
club
and roundabouts.
Yeah. Give me my $15 back.
You can't even target the one in the tumble dryer with fabric conditioner method that I normally use.
My game plan here is take a heat gun, remove the one, take a picture of it, and complain on Twitter endlessly that they didn't have the 7 centered, and then try and get them to replace it that way.
Yeah, I mean, or you could
just
just
go
say
to
you sold me this under false pretenses.
Just go to the soccer shop, ask them to take it off, and put a 7 on.
Yeah, but then I got to wait for him to have the numbers or something. I don't know. We'll see. Plus, that'd cost me more money. I don't know. I'll figure it
I don't
out.
think he'll
Or
necessarily change numbers. He might wait until
all his social media says Liao 7. That's the only thing I'm worried about. But
yeah, you're fucked.
I'm fucked.
Yeah,
And I knew
he's staying the 7.
I knew it before it even happened that this
That's why
would be the
Tonali's
case.
safe.
Yeah, Tonali was
number
safe.
8.
I was torn between Teo and Liao, but for whatever reason, I want to get Teo on last season's 4th jersey. Even though I hate that shirt, I just think the 19 looks good on it, maybe because I've only seen it with Champione 19. So I was thinking get Teo on that, and I was like, well, I'll just get Liao right now. He's not going anywhere. That's a safe bet. Didn't even think about the number until I paid and posted a screenshot, and then I had Carlos laughing at me. So
I mean, you
was
wouldn't
cool.
think about it unless you put 2 and 2 together and thought Samu might finally leave. And there it is. He might. I'd say he might still not move. He might wait until next season, whatever. If the renewal carries on through the season, then it might be a big thing, like renewal and the number 7.
Yeah.
Don't know. It could also be given to a new signing. We'll wait and see on that. I guess I think 18's free for Renato Sanches if he were to join. CDK likes 90, so that's all fine. Daniel Maldini leaving would vacate the 27 for Origi. What you secretly must hope is that Origi gets 7 somehow.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't think he's ever worn that before. I think it's been 27 or 31.
Yeah, but he's also never been like an out-and-out starter, and I really do think he's going to be our main attack threat this season.
Yeah, so that'd be interesting. I mean, who's 22?
Ziyech probably.
Yeah, that's so. If he came, we could have that. That'd be fine. About it, really, isn't it? Yeah, I can't see anybody really moving. Do you remember that weird thing with Conte and Rebic swapping numbers bizarrely?
Yeah,
that was poor. That was poor.
That was rude, is what that was.
Yeah. And one that I ought to mention, Lorenzo Colombo has joined Lecce, and he scored twice on his debut, scored a brace on his preseason debut. Okay, they won 7-0 against a team of, I think, like university students or something. But it would be nice to see him do so well in preseason that he forces his way into a starting role in a Serie A side. I keep mentioning him, but kind of like Pinamonti's managed to do it into just get your stock as high as possible and go from there. But I think that's it in terms of recapping business. Caldara might be joining Spezia on loan. There's a few might be in terms of loans, like Marco Lazatic might be going somewhere in Serie B. Same for Marco Nasti as well. Emil Robach or Andreas Jungdahl, or both of them, could be going the other way in the CDK deal. I think, to me anyway, it's a little bit of a sign in terms of a change of stance in how we're going to handle youth. Like they're either, if they're good enough or they're looking all right at Primavera level, they're either going to be loaned out so they can learn to play with the big boys, or they're going to be used in other operations, you know. But we'll wait and see on that. Abate as well was confirmed as the Primavera's new head coach, so that's made me feel a bit old. Firmly remember him as a young player. But yeah, we'll see how they get on as well this season. I think that's it in terms of recapping business. Shall we do some questions?
Let's do it. Get them up here.
Yeah, apologies for basically just reeling off a load of names there and saying what's going on with them. But with 2 weeks away, it's sometimes important to do a little bit of a stock take. Okay, so Hossam Diwan asks, welcome back, fellas. Thank you. Any news regarding Shaka Traore's development? He had a big buzz around him when he came from Parma as a kid with big potential, but we're yet to see him promoted to the senior squad. Now, I need to just check quickly how many appearances he made for the Primavera last season, but there was a fair bit of hype about him when he came because he was the one who made his debut in Serie A age 16 against us for Parma, and we managed to poach him. He's a he's going down as a left winger, but I'm fairly sure he's a right winger. 17-year-old Ivory Coast. So he scored 8 goals and got 5 assists for the Primavera last season after 25 games. Based on what we just said about changing strategy, maybe a loan.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely a good return. Our Primavera sucks, so any return in that is positive, I'd say.
They used to be good though, right? Or have they always been shit? Not AJ. I'm asking Oliver because AJ hates youth soccer. I'm asking.
They
I
won
don't know
the
why I called
league.
you Oliver. That's weird.
That's okay, mate. Don't worry, it's nice and formal. They have won the league in the not too distant past. But
I think it was the Pippo Inzaghi year for the first team that they won it.
2013, I want to say. So that is quite a long time ago. But basically, it's the last 3 seasons that have been a real problem. I know that the Primavera shouldn't be results-based. It should be philosophy-based. It should be, you play this way, it will help you develop individually and as a team, and it should be consistent with the first team. And it should essentially be the first step on the conveyor belt, to being hopefully an established starter in the senior side. We haven't really seen that. And I think, Donnarumma and Calabria aside, a couple of others in there, of course, that production line hasn't really been there. And the results have been shit as well as that. They've been relegated to the second division. OK, got promoted again straight away. But then we're 1 game away from a relegation playoff last season. Results don't matter, but not to the extent that you potentially get relegated to the second tier. That's unacceptable. So it was right to change coach, and hopefully some positive comes from that moving forward, and we actually start producing some players that are ready. Rocky Award, thoughts on Adli so far, and what will his best position be? Been some clips of him. Not if you've seen them. Some sassy
There's things
clips.
about there's clips are clips because shows him doing good things. I have no thoughts on him yet.
You see the clip of him and Brahim Diaz both trying to do the same drill where they like juggled the ball entirely in the air.
Yeah.
The final touch had to be a little side foot up and into a net, and Yassine did it straight away, and Brahim eventually did it, but
he backheeled it in though, right?
Yeah, he managed to get it up over his. That was quite cool. Adli looks good, as Maddie says. They are just clips, and it's only training, so we're waiting for the friendlies. But the signs are good in terms of his technique and his speed of thought. Like some of the drills and stuff, he looks to be pretty quick-footed. So
I've only seen one clip, and it wasn't anything in training, but I did like what I saw. It was him walking into the weight room with just a shit ton of water bottles in his hand of each player. And I think it's important to build that rapport with your new teammates like right away like that. So I think, he's making the effort to get to know the guys and befriend them and build a connection, which is only going to turn into better performance on the pitch and better trust. So, happy to see that. But as far as his actual playing ability, I haven't seen it.
That's another reason why I'm kind of excited for the friendlies. And I suppose it should be mentioned that obviously he signed permanently last summer, but was loaned back out to Bordeaux. Bordeaux had an awful season. They went down bottom, which shouldn't happen for a club their size. But they went down bottom of Ligue 1, so they'll be playing in the second flight next season. And he has admitted himself that it was a difficult year for him. In terms of his personal development, probably not that bad. I think he got 1 goal, 8 assists, which in a team that barely scored, is what it is. And he played all over the pitch. He wore the captain's armband at various times. So that's a good sign for the 21-year-old player that they knew was leaving. But maybe the changing environment, getting to grips with a new challenge, with more ambitious teammates, with a stable ownership and all that kind of stuff, could actually be a massive launching pad for him. Spoke with Rohit, who does the tactical analysis pieces for our website, and he said that based on the games that he watched from Bordeaux last season, he stood out as being one of the best players, and actually he thinks that he could do really well for us here this season just by being in a better environment. So fingers crossed that turns out to be true. What shirt number will he take? We'll have to wait and see.
Fingers crossed it's 7.
Yeah.
It won't be.
It won't be.
I can't remember what he wore at. I see 119 at Bordeaux, but
it's gonna be another random ass ugly number. Like our team loves to do that. Drives me nuts.
I love those numbers.
Can't wait to see Adli 53. Like, okay, whatever. They're not unique. They're ugly.
Why would he wear 53?
They're not memorable because those are dumb numbers.
That's how old he looks.
How old he looks.
He wore number, I think that's a 19. 19 he wore. So you can't have that, but you might go for 18 if Renato doesn't look like arriving. We'll wait and see. And best role, I suppose we should answer that part of the question. I'm going to say playmaker. I don't think double. Maybe if we played a 3-man midfield, he could play box to box, but I don't think he could play in the shield in front of the defence just yet. I don't think he's quite physical enough. But as a number 10, look forward to seeing that. And he can even
I
play
think he
wide
will
if
be a
needed.
10.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of what we brought him in for, and that's probably why Danny Maldini is going to be going out, because if CDK is a starter, and then we have Adli who just came in, and Brahim another year on his loan, like, do you really need 4 attacking mids? No. So I think
No, that is a valid point. You got to wonder as well, I've only just thought of this, the Daniel Maldini loan being a precursor to CDK arriving. Literally has only just clicked in my head, but that's probably me being slow. The heat as well, you know. Pete asks, will CDK slot right in, or will it take time a la Tonali?
I do think it'll take time, but I don't think it'll take a full season. I think a couple games here and there, get the nerves out of the way. I mean, it's not like he hasn't played against PSG in the Champions League. You know, he's done enough. So I think it'll take him a little bit, but I don't think it'll be anything to worry about.
Yeah, some initial growing pains would be absolutely fine because we've seen players burst through them. I mean, people forget Benacer's disciplinary record that first season at the start was awful. I think he racked up like 8 bookings in the first half of the season, which wasn't great. Teo initially couldn't get in over Ricardo Rodriguez, but that's because Gianpaolo was a terrorist. Then you've got, who else was there? Oh, Leao, of course, who had a couple of inconsistent seasons and then kind of exploded. So Tonali, as mentioned, you have got case studies of players who just took a bit of time to adjust, but then when they did and they were given the patience and the support, they really flew off. And that's, I guess, that's got to be the plan with a youth project, hasn't it? You can't just sack players off after one season.
Yeah, I think the biggest adjustment for him is actually going to be playing on a team with legendary names. You know, going in the locker room and seeing Zlatan Ibrahimovic in front of you, seeing Maldini watching you practice, seeing, you know, all these things that he's not used to. You know, you could play against anyone. He's played against Messi, he's played against Mbappe, Neymar, et cetera, but having...
Didn't they get relegated? And wasn't he on the bench?
What are you talking about?
Who?
Adli?
Brother, you got to pay attention. We're...
Sorry.
We're like 15 minutes
way
past
on.
that. We're talking about CDK playing against PSG in the Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
He actually didn't get... Now, I could be wrong, and I know that this isn't something to remember, even if it was correct, but I think he got SofaScore man of the match for one of those games against PSG.
I wouldn't know, to be honest. I know it was a really good performance for him. But yeah, I mean, I just think playing against those guys is different than having them around you every day, but it obviously helps. So I think his playing isn't going to suffer. It might take him a little bit to like really look great in training, maybe, and so he might not get the game time immediately, but he'll adapt fast.
I wonder what the difference is between the Belgian league and the Italian league in terms of quality. I mean, the obvious answer is quite big, but how big? You know, like how close is it to the Eredivisie, to Liga? I guess we'll find out in terms of how. But there's been plenty of talents
Belgium
is Belgian league.
Yeah, one thing about Belgium is it's consistently rated as one of the best nations in football for God knows why. They've never won anything, but you know, if he's got that mentality going into it, then he should adjust just fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And also there was a report from a well-connected journalist to Bruges saying that De Bruyne has taken him under his wing for the national team.
Oh, that's nice.
That's good, isn't it? And Hazard as well, but I'd stay away from him.
Unless it's to give you squatting advice.
Any dietary advice from Eden Hazard. The Swedish podcast guys asked, how do you want to use Adli? We kind of answered that, but Pobega, what do we think happens with Pobega? Now, I can't remember where it was. It was either Milan News or Sky said that not only are we going to keep him around, but we're going to extend his deal. That's how much we believe in him. And he only recently signed a renewal. He's here to stay by the sounds of it, but is it going to be as simple as him being a 4th choice central midfielder?
Yes.
I think so as well.
I think it's a homegrown academy player, Italian national. Keep him on the squad list as long as possible. Also, he's a great rotation, 4th or 5th choice if Renato shows up. I don't think it's anything too complex, but he's a good player and he'll get minutes. He's just not going to be starting.
I mean, he's used to the league. So if Adli is not like understanding the league fast enough, Pobega could step in as a second choice. I think to start, Benacer will be playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that I don't want to do this because obviously he's our player and he's only 22 and he could develop into something brilliant. But I think I've mentioned it before, but I don't see him at the moment as a player who is particularly conducive to the way that we play. Like, he's physical, but he's not the fastest. He's not. He's good. He's been good in a midfield 3, and he's been good when he's played further forward. I'm just not sure where he fits in at the moment in our system. Is it as simple as just dropping him in the double pivot and hoping for the best, given that he hasn't played that much in front of the defence? Can you really play him as a 10? Maybe. I guess we'll see in pre-season what's in mind. But we're going to have to anchor down what we want him to be, I think, fairly quickly and then go from there. But
I mean,
as well.
If he's coming on for 30 minutes a game, and he's younger than 22, he's not going to be – I mean, he might be upset, but if he's upset, that's good because it means that he's driven to want to start and he'll be more competitive during practice and try harder.
That's the way that I see him at the moment is, like last season when we were winning a game with 30, 20 minutes left and we'd take the 10 off and put Krunic on and switch to a midfield 3 just to give us a bit more protection. I see him just being that sub-on guy now, with his physicality and just to give us a bit more. But that isn't a great thing to pitch to him, So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how we manage him. Might just give him a season. If he don't play much, then maybe the sale theory comes around again. So we got a few questions from Himori that I guess are fairly quick fire. First one, who's your favourite club besides Milan? Mine is Huddersfield Town and Maddie's is Everton, as is well known by now.
Yeah.
I guess we'll never know.
Well, I mean, I some of my best friends are Chelsea fans and some of my best friends are Spurs fans. So obviously I, support them in spirit, but I'm very confident in saying I'm a one club person. I'll support from afar and always wish my friends to be happy, except for you two. I was actively rooting for Everton's demise and for Huddersfield to stay down as well. But yeah, no,
at least you admit it.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. I don't think. I mean, obviously, got a village. I say village, town side near me as well, where I grew up, Guiseley. But that's about it, really. Soft spot for Cracovia since going to Krakow, but won't pretend that I see any of their games because streams aren't readily available for the Polish extra class, as you can imagine. Castillejo is better than Messiah's thoughts.
Who said
is
that?
The next question, Himori. No, it's just me saying it.
Oh, I was like, you're wrong.
No,
look, if it means Leal keeps a 17 for a season, then yeah, you're right.
Spot on.
I think that's true.
Castillo had his moments in his first
He's
season.
not horrible. I don't understand.
He is. He's horrible. But he was pivotal in winning that first game against Verona for us last season. So he was
also better than Salamakers, though.
Yeah. And
Salamakers is horrible. So on my scale of horrible, Salamakers is here. Samu's like here.
Maybe all three of our
apparently
right wing
Messias is like right here.
And then
maybe we're trying to sign a new right winger because of this. Look, no, he's not better than Messias is the answer to that because Messias scored 6 goals last season.
He also got way more game time.
Why is that?
Because Samu refused to leave and the team was pissed at him.
He sucked. That's all. Next.
Agreed. Perfect vacation location.
Ooh.
We're back onto the last the questions thing here where it's just general grilling.
General knowledge. I like those actually. Those are fun.
Yeah, that's good.
It depends on what you want, like
if you could only go one place on vacation for the rest of your life, where would it be? That's what we'll come down to.
See, that's not fair because then I have to say Milan so that I can see games.
It may not be a vacation.
Ah,
It could be a business trip.
We're talking vacation. I wouldn't even class city breaks necessarily. I think we're talking vacation as in like you go away for a week. You know, somewhere nice.
I couldn't say the last time I took a week-long vacation. I don't know.
I
Maybe
think at least one a year.
I don't, dude. I do multiple weekend trips. That's about it.
Birmingham.
Yeah.
Birmingham, Alabama.
Detroit.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't really know. I mean, I guess somewhere tropical. I would like to do that more.
GoldenEye, Jamaica.
But the thing is, honestly, all the island nations, no offense to any listeners from them, they're all the same. You know,
What the fuck? I'm an island nation.
But I guess we all are. No, I just mean like St. Lucia, St. Martin, Virgin Islands, all that. Those are the exact same place to me. You know,
that's why I chose one I've been to.
You got the Caribbean; it's all the same. Doesn't matter which one you go to; it's the same experience. Like,
so
I can testify that that's
generalizes
not true.
Groups of people as the same.
I went to Cuba and I went to Barbados, and the two could not have been more different.
Well, yeah, that's
Cuba
because Barbados is a Caribbean island, and Cuba's more Hispanic Latin style island.
Yeah, I mean, Cuba was very, very poverty-stricken. It was a bit of an eye-opener, to be honest. But yeah, I suppose a lot of the Caribbean islands are essentially just old colonialized islands of England, Holland, I think it's like St. Martin, and the French, obviously. So yeah, I don't know. I really liked Barbados, so I'd probably say there, but because it's only one place. Australia was pretty sick, so I'll say there. And they like cricket, which I know you two don't. That's actually it for questions, boys.
Good one,
so it is. And yeah, thank you for listening. If you made it this far, something I forgot to plug at the start of the episode, and it's really annoyed me, but I'll do it now. We have got a new range of merchandise out. Farinho, who some of you will know from Twitter, I say helped us. He designed it. It's like a Panini style version of the 2021-22 Scudetto winning squad. It's our pinned tweet on Twitter, so you can go and see that to check out how it looks on all the products and stuff. If not, go to redbubble.com and search SempreMilan. You'll see it pretty much straight away.
The link's in the description, so
that as well. So
definitely get some because it looks great and you worked really hard on it. So yeah, be great. Be good if we could sell some of those.
Just any would be good.
Just one.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna get a couple of things actually this week, so we'll be off and running. So yeah, go and cop that and reminder of the giveaway that was announced at the start of the episode. Rewind if you've forgotten the instructions, but yeah, stuff will be in the description. Again, I've been your host, Ollie Fisher. Find me on Twitter at Ollie Fisher. AJ, thank you for joining.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Glad to be back. We'll get back in the swing of it, and hopefully next week we have some transfer acquisitions to discuss. Yeah,
it was a great episode. I zoned out during questions. Work was calling. Also, in about 2 hours, we have a special interview with the co-founder of Vintage Watches, the Milan watch sponsor.
Yeah, and
probably won't be posted in 2 hours though.
Come out at some point. Don't worry about that. So yeah, stay tuned for that one as well. Fantastic. That's it. Thank you, everyone. We will catch you in a week.
Eccolo Ante in area di rigore. Ante, Ibra, gol! Vediamo se è buono, ce lo dà buono.